Our perceptions become our reality all the time. A little me mind lives a little me life. The cult does not want us to know that, because suddenly we start to realize that there's not some external force or random chance all the time. A little me mind lives a little me life. A mind that sees itself in much greater terms lives a life in much greater terms. Our perceptions, not least of self, become our experience. Now, this cult knows that. That's why it wants to control our perception. It wants to control the information, which becomes our perception. Our perception becomes our behavior. Collective behavior becomes human society. You control perception, you control the nature of human society. As human perceptions become human experience. So the whole foundation is to keep us in ignorance of who we are, and to keep us, in terms of the greater self, fast asleep. Fast asleep where? In the five senses. The five senses that perceive the world and say, can I see it, touch it, taste it, hear it, and so on. Okay, it exists then. If I can't, it doesn't, it can't. And we are multi-dimensional entities, multi-dimensional consciousness. The five sense level, which perceives this world and gets mesmerized by it, is only one level. It's the level that directly interacts with the reality we call human. In fact, the way the body decodes information is human. It's what we call human. But there's infinite levels of us that we can tap into and see and get insight into the world of the five senses, which the five senses alone will never get, because they're in this world and they're of it, and they are only perceiving of it. And as I studied this cult and its modus operandi, I realized what the foundation of it was. And that is to isolate human perception of self and reality in the five senses. And if you think of a computer being the five sense level of reality, human mind, and the operator being expanded levels of consciousness, you're in an ideal situation then, because the operator and the computer are interacting. The operator's got the bigger picture. The computer then experiences directly, if you like, the internet. And you've got this ideal interaction. What this cult wants to do is to get in that space between the operator and the computer, and actually appropriate given current events, to basically put a computer virus in the five senses. And in terms of humans, the five sense mind is responding to the computer virus, the nature of which I'll come to in a second. And expanded levels of consciousness are not having any influence. And what that does is put the five sense human mind into a state of extraordinary levels of myopia. And so when people come along and they talk about reality in a much more expanded way, or they talk about world events in a much more expanded way, like actually, you know, the people in power are not actually the people in power. You've got to go back into the shadows to find that. So this cult wants to hold people, wants to hold the target population in that, what I call five sense bubble, that five sense prison cell. Look at the education system. Well, they call it that. And you'll see it's basically all about the five senses. It's stimulating the five senses all the time. and going into expanded areas of possibility. Five senses, five senses, five senses. Learn. Absorb, download. Five senses, all of it. And you look at the media, it's all five senses. You look at government, it's all based on the five senses, all of it. The whole system is based on the five senses, because the cult has to keep us there to stop us expanding into our greater self, the true I, the eternal I, of which the five senses are just an experiential level for a short time called human. And when the body cycle is over, that which is experiencing consciousness moves on. And that's why near-death experiencers experience a very different reality once they leave the body. The reality that we're experiencing is just the way the body decodes reality. And like I say, the way the body decodes reality is what we call human. If you're in a body of an elephant, then the elephant will decode reality based on the information processing system of the body of the elephant and the genetic system of the elephant. So it perceives as an elephant and acts like an elephant. But when you leave the body, you're leaving that information processing system, and so you're no longer human. You are a much more expanded state of consciousness. And what the cult doesn't want is for us to realize any of that. These are the key things that are held in the secret society network. Secret society network, so they're kept secret from the population. They want the population to think that they are just little me, have no power, and either they're subject to the diktats of some god, or there's no point to their lives. You just better get through it and do what we say. And so this process of isolating humanity in the five senses and separating the separation, this is the key, separating the five sense perception from greater reality, greater self, the true I, is the whole foundation of the conspiracy. Always has been. And now we're seeing the next stage of that emerging. And this is what this is really about, of connecting the human body and the human brain to artificial intelligence. And so the idea of connecting the AI to the human body, the human brain, is that AI becomes the human mind. And AI will be operating only in the five sense level, basically, to hold human perception in the five sense level indefinitely. So what is awakening? Why do people who awaken, as it's called, start to see themselves and the world differently, and as it moves on, very differently? Been there, done that. It's because they first of all open their minds. What does that mean? They open the five senses to other possibilities. They don't just look at what you can see, touch, taste, etc., and what comes directly through the mainstream media and governments and teachers, who are often more mesmerized than their bloody kids they're supposed to be teaching. They allow other possibilities in.
Help by spreading this message. Share with your friends, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Turn on notifications to stay updated.